swear to God,
what you gonna do, crybaby?
With alligator.
I'll wear alligator Alcatraz merch if I want to. And what you gonna do, baby? I'm gonna tell you F.A. and F.O. Okay?
For a concentration
so you have the day you deserve.
A few moments later.
This is crazy. I know we're not Kirk County. I know we're not Kerrville. I know we're not San Angelo or San Antonio. But hell, we're human beings. Help us. We need help. Get me the media. Get me some official. Get me water. Get me anything we need, please. We have nothing. For God's sakes, Travis County, help us. Don't treat us like we're nothing out here, because we're not. We're human beings. We pay taxes out here. Don't treat us like this. I'm going to tell you F.A. and F.O. Okay?
Hello brothers and sisters, I really hope you're all doing fine from wherever you're watching me from. Now, white Americans are crying out to each other and complaining that they did not take the black community advice seriously. Now, they are crying out after losing their jobs, and most of the Nebraska farmers and Texas farmers are running shortage of workers in their farms. Now, this is a very sad moment because they are now realizing that the black community was all right all this long. So let's watch this video, then have a really quick discussion at the end of it. Thank you so much.
We are finally starting to see people realize, MAGA specifically, that they have been duped by Trump, especially after the big beautiful bill was passed.
Bullshit bill. We voted for Trump because he promised us to cut taxes on tips, Social Security, and overtime. So they write this bill, it goes through the House, then it goes to the Senate, and then the Senate just chops it all up. And they say, oh yeah, we're gonna no tax on tips.
If you did not know, the big beautiful bill was essentially an extension of Trump's tax cuts from his first term that Biden essentially kept during his term. So if you felt like taxes were high, it's because of Trump. Now we're paying a tariff when we buy goods. A tariff is a tax. I'm calling it a federal sales tax. The Republicans only care about their rich friends. They do not care about you. The Democrats are not much better, but at least they're not evil. Congratulations on paying the same and getting less.
Voted for Donald J. Trump in the 2024 presidential election, and I am starting to regret my vote. When I voted for Donald Trump, I was under the impression that we would be getting rid of the undesirable illegal aliens. Now I have no one to work on my farm. What am I supposed to do? Pay them a living wage? This isn't handout city. I'm not giving these people no handouts. And how am I even supposed to do that anyway? I thought the plan was to tax the poors. Okay? I thought we were going to tax the poors. I make $25,000 a year. I'm not one of them. I'm not one of them poors. But why did my taxes raise? I thought us good folks were supposed to be getting tax cuts. That was what I thought. Plus, I'm white. Why did my taxes raise, and why do I have no one to work my farm? I do not understand this, and I know that this was not what Donald Trump meant to happen. I know that he doesn't want us good Trump supporter folks suffering, but we are. Donald Trump, please reverse this. I'm a white person. I am not supposed to be suffering. It was supposed to be.
Our state is going to go bankrupt in 2 quarters. Me and my husband owned a cattle ranch here, and I can confirm that all of the cattle ranchers here overwhelmingly voted for Trump. We support him. We voted for him. Something like 70% of our entire workforce is undocumented immigrants, and they straight up are not showing up for work anymore. They have all either fled the country, fled the state. They don't want to get raided while at work, so they have just moved on to work somewhere else. And straight up, we are gonna go bankrupt now. We are gonna go bankrupt. And yeah, we voted. We knew that the immigrants would get deported, and he was coming after immigrants, yet we still voted for it. Overwhelmingly voted for our own demise. I was talking to my husband last night, and I have to admit that it's...
I need to know if you heard what the CEO of In-N-Out said.
The CEO of In-N-Out is a Nepo baby. Her father started In-N-Out in California. They became billionaires because of California tax dollars, California revenue. But she's MAGA, and it's, quote, too hard to raise a family in California, so she's moving her shitty family to Tennessee, where they don't have any taxes, and their education, they just got ranked the worst state in the country. Yeah, she wants to move her MAGA-loving self to Tennessee so she could be around more idiots. I need to know how many Angelinos are going to be protesting and boycotting In-N-Out now, because as somebody who loves the double-double animal style with your cheese fries, and I've defended your shitty fries for years, I think you're going to see a dip in sales.
So now that I have fallen down this rabbit hole, I just jumped onto Twitters, and I got an alt Twitter where I pretend to be a MAGA guy, and I saw a live, and I am not kidding you. This dude, all these dudes these farmer dudes in there, these farm owner dudes, they're saying, well, we thought the blacks would come back and do the jobs because they don't have jobs. Well, I'm sorry to break it to you, but black people have jobs, and you thought you were getting your slaves back is basically what you were saying. Like, that's what you thought. It's still going right now, and I'm not going to post a link to it because I don't want to give these people a voice. But they think they're in a safe space on Twitter. They're not.
It's time to speak up. Well, it appears the joke's on me. It appears I have been the biggest fool alive. You see, before the last couple of days, I knew that there was a segment of MAGA who just hated, who just wanted to burn the world down, and they don't care who they hurt in the meantime. I knew there was that section, but I really, really thought that most of MAGA just didn't get it. I really thought they just didn't understand. They didn't understand economics because it's complicated. They hadn't studied Project 2025, so they didn't know what was coming. But I really thought when he got in there and started doing the things that hurt so many people, that they would realize, and that they would. But they don't care. Y'all have been telling me this for 2 months, and I kept saying, no, we just have to explain it to them. We just have. Now, I know there are a few, and I thank you guys. You make it worth sticking with this. But over the last couple of days, I have realized that the majority of Republicans do not care how many people are hurt. And they are exactly what Palpatine said. They're the ones he was talking about when he said he could unalive someone in public and they would still vote for him. I thought they just wanted lower egg prices. I thought they were struggling in the economy and it was hard and they wanted their lives to be easier, and they listened to that. And that's why they voted for him. But they don't care. They literally don't care how many other people in this world are hurt. See, the difference is I'm willing to pay more for my eggs if it means no one in my country goes hungry tonight. I am willing to pay more for my eggs if it means everybody can have an egg. But they really don't care. And I am heartbroken that so many in my country don't care. That so many won't go love their neighbor. But I want to thank those of you who are. You're the ones keeping me going. Go love your neighbor.
Didn't I tell y'all that's what they thought? They thought black people were going to go get them jobs in the field. Since the migrants are gone, we ain't got no jobs, so we going to go back in the field and pick. That's what they thought. Oops. We worked for free in this country for 290 years. We ain't picking nothing for y'all. Y'all better get y'all white folks out there and go pick them fruits and them vegetables and take care of them cattle and the chickens. We not going out there. But I made a video. I can't find the shit, damn it. But I made a video when this all started, and I said they think black people are going to go back and work in the fields. That's why Donald Trump said they are taking black jobs. They think that's what we're supposed to go do. And they're finding out real quick Black people ain't coming. Y'all can hold your breath on that one. We ain't picking shit for y'all. We will grow our own vegetables and take care of our own selves. We not going to them fields. Y'all better figure out what y'all want to do about this immigration policy and these mass deportations, or white folks, get your ass out there and go pick your own.
And excited that Trump won. As far as financially, obviously nothing's really changed. We're still under the Biden administration, but I know that it is coming, and
this is how it's going.
So I admit I regret my vote for Donald Trump. I regret it because I needed these changes sooner. I needed the prices to go down sooner so that I didn't drain out my bank account.
What y'all having for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Because that is far more interesting to me than whatever she talking about. Have the day you voted for, ma'am. Get your dancing shoes back out and gets to stepping. Make America great again. One millionaire and billionaire at a time. He loves the poorly educated. His words, not mine. And this is the prime example of why. FAAFO. Have the day you voted for. And don't make me say it no more.
Them farmers really thought we was going back to them fields. They really thought we was going back to them fields. You know what? My mother was the first generation on her mother's side not to be brought up on a plantation. Not to be brought up on a plantation. That's what I said. My grandfather had a 3rd grade education, but he left my mama 2 houses, property in the bank, property and money in the bank, with a 3rd grade education. And guess what? He worked in fields. My great grandmother worked in fields and cut that cane just like a man. You hear me? And if you think that Eddie Lewis and Victoria C. Jones and all the rest of my ancestors bust their tail in them fields for us to go back to the fields, absolutely not. That's not progress. We're trying to heal from ancestral trauma. We're trying to heal from that. That ain't happening. That produce could rot in them fields before we go back to them fields. They need to let them know that.
There are 4 things that everybody who's not a Trump supporter thinks about you, and so far you've done nothing to disprove these things. 1, you're uneducated. And I don't mean uneducated in the sense that you didn't go to school and learn to read or do basic arithmetic. I mean you're uneducated as far as what's going on in the world. You got goggles on, only paying attention to what you want to pay attention to. Dose, you lack empathy. You don't care what happens to somebody else as long as it doesn't happen to you. Imagine for a moment the government started saying, hey, your marriage is illegal. How would you feel about that? How would you feel about that? But you don't care that it's happening to gay people as long as it doesn't happen to you. 3, you lack independent thinking skills, meaning you are incapable of forming your own thoughts, opinions, or viewpoints on things. You need pundit talking points from Fox News or whatever that other OAN. You need those people to tell you what to believe. You don't have the ability to look into those claims and maybe think something else. It's a confirmation bias. You live in this bubble and you refuse to step outside of it. 4, and I think this is the most important one. I think this is the one you really need to work on if you have the ability, and that is critical thinking. Critical thinking is the ability to look at a situation and say to yourself, you know what, that's kind of fucked up. That's not right, and you can't do that. So I look forward to all the laughing emoji reactions to this video, because the people that I just made these claims about don't have the ability to defend themselves. So they do so just with the laughing emoji. So fire away.
The black jobs. They really thought that we was going to be looking for black jobs, y'all. And I woke up this morning, I was scrolling through TikTok, and I saw this guy made a video, and I saved it to my favorite, so you can go look for it. And he said he was pretending to be MAGA on one of those other apps. He said they were doing a live, and the farmers were saying that they thought that the black people would be looking for jobs to work on their farms. Now, you got to be kidding me. Do they think we really looking for farm work? Do they not know that we are educated and we got degrees? And being a farm worker ain't even in the jobs categories that we be looking for. They really don't know how educated some of us are. They don't know how many degrees a lot of us have. They got to be really lost if they think that we want to come and work on their farms. They don't know that our parents and our grandparents growing up wouldn't even let us be outside if it wasn't no shade outside. Do they really think that we gonna work on a farm where ain't no shade trees at? I hate to disappoint y'all, baby, but you gonna have to get somebody else to do it, because we ain't working on nobody's farm. Never. The only way you gonna see black people working on a farm is if they own the farm, because we not working on nobody's farm as no workers. So I hate to disappoint y'all. If y'all thought those was black jobs that black people looking for, honey, you better think again, because black folks that I know got good jobs. We've had a black president, we had a black vice president, we got black senators, we got black congressmen, we got black CEOs, we got black doctors, we got black nurses, we got black psychiatrists, we got a lot of good black jobs. Now I don't know what y'all thought we was gonna be farm workers for. We don't even want to work in the fast food industry. Those jobs, we don't want those kind of jobs. So, I hate to disappoint you MAGA people, but we don't do farm work. So, get somebody else to do it. I'll like, share, comment, and repost. Drop in the comments y'all education and y'all good black jobs, because they don't think we got good black jobs out here. So
every time I post about the work that Texans are doing and how Texans are fighting against this regime, I always get comments like this. You know, Texans deserve what's happening to them. You voted for this. And by interesting, I actually mean it's stupid. You know, you've got this guy here I bet nobody in there listened to VP Kamala Harris. Not only did I listen to VP Kamala Harris, I was an invited guest in the VP's house multiple times and introduced her before one of her speeches. I promise you that you did not outwork me this election cycle behind your keyboard. I promise you that. And you all want to claim people like Jasmine Crockett. Where do you think Jasmine learned how to fight? Here in Texas, in the Texas House. Because we've been fighting these battles by ourselves for a long ass time while you've been sitting in your blue ivory towers looking down on us saying it's never going to happen to me, and now here we are. And when you leave comments like this of, Texans deserve it, this is what they voted for, what you're actually doing is perpetuating the rights talking point for them, that our rights should be dependent on zip code. That's how they overturned Roe. So congratulations that you would rather point the finger than work on progress with us, because until you're ready to go and do the fight in the hard places.
Hello brothers and sisters, I really hope you're all doing fine from wherever you are watching me from. Now, we've been seeing a lot of black Americans, Latin Americans trying to cry out and trying to blame each other for all the atrocities that they are facing right at the moment. Now, they're trying to remind themselves that black folks warned them against doing some things, and they didn't listen. You know that they went ahead, voted with a lot of emotions, thinking they were going to punish the black community, but later on things have turned to be messed up on their side. We've seen black farmers in Texas and Nebraska crying out to the black community to come and rescue them, that they are trying to ask forgiveness from the black community so that they can join hands and fight MAGA supporters in that case, you know. And we really need to talk and address some things, because this is how things have been done for a very long time, that people try to vote or try to elect leaders in order to punish the rest. Now, Republicans vote to punish Democrats vote to punish Republicans, but this is the time we should realize that we should not vote individuals, we should not vote parties, we should vote people who have clear manifestos, people who have a good track record, people who will propel our countries to forge ahead in a very good direction. Now, I know many people complaining about the immigration policies that Donald Trump has evoked in the US. And we've been seeing even those green card holders trying to ask and plead with the government to be merciful to them, that the ICE should not pick them and throw them out of the country. For how long are we going to sit there and beg politicians to do to us whatever the Constitution has stipulated very clearly that it should be done without fear or favors, you know? For how long are we going to sit down, cry to the same system, time to time, make the same errors, elect leaders, voting with emotions, you know? And this has really affected the way politics has been defined in the US over time. We've been seeing a lot of people trying to side with Democrats, trying to side with Republicans just to punish the other side. This is very wrong. This is very immature of us. This is not the way we should be voting, you know. We are very intelligent to be voting this way. Now, it is barely 1 year since Donald Trump was elected, and everyone is crying. The farmers are crying, and we've seen public servants crying. We've been seeing Latin Americans, the Latinos are crying. Who else is going to be safe if everyone is crying? And the question is, all these groups of people who are crying out at the moment are the same groups of people who elected Donald Trump. And Donald Trump was very clear with his manifestos. He said, I'm going to carry out the largest deportation ever seen in the history of the US. No one listened. And he continued saying that you are going to see a very ruthless me, that I'm not going to spare anyone, that I'm going to go for them even in their hideouts, you know. And for this one reason, people should have been careful in the way they are voting. Myself, I do not know who was best between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. We do elect leaders not because they are good looking, not because they talk well, but it is because they have good manifestos. They have good agenda for the country and for the people. And it is for this reason that we should drop the notion of electing Republicans and Democrats just because you want to punish the other person. It is the time the US people, the Americans, should actually realize that it is no longer about parties. Parties no longer work. Parties are very corrupt. It is now your duty, your civil duty as a citizen, to take your time and reflect the kind of leaders you're electing. Do you elect leaders to punish those on the opposite side? Or do you elect leaders who have a good track record to work for you? Do you elect leaders just because you feel so much, you are so bitter with the other side, with your opponents from the other party? Or you elect leaders to make sure that they are coming back to work for the people and that they have the interest of the people at heart? This is the biggest mistake we've always been doing, just right from Africa back to Europe and now to America, that we do vote leaders because they're good looking, they talk well, you know, and that the other party needs to be punished, you know. And for this reason, we've ended up having very terrible leaders in Africa. We ended up having very terrible leaders in the diaspora, in the Caribbean, in the US, and in Europe, you know. How are we going to change and make the world better? We've made politicians so powerful in that they think they're the second lords, they're the lords of this world. Are we really serious on changing the course of Africa, the course of the politics in the US, or are we going to remain in the same state? You know, and for most people think that voting to punish the other guy is good thing because they will suffer and all that. Politicians are the same, you know. And there is no need to punish the other and leave the other. If you're going to punish the whole class of the corrupt political, the whole class of the political class, you know, and do not leave out some trying to punish the other just because you're frustrated with the policies they bring around. How clear or how How do you know that the other one is being very true to whatever they are saying? This is the time we should change the nature of politics, both in the US, in Africa, in the Caribbean, and in Europe. This is the time we should realize that not all Democrats leaders are good, or politicians, Some are very crooked, and some do not even deserve your vote, Not all are good. Not all are good in Africa, or in those from the other political side. That we need to elect vibrant leaders who have a good track record of working for the people, and those who are not very corrupt. I know there is no any other single politician who is very clean. Almost all politicians have always had a corrupt side of them. But now, if you're going to election, now choose the less corrupt. Choose the one who will actually propel the agendas of whatever he said during the campaign trail. Do not go elect someone, then later on cry that you are not feeling the same way, that things are so expensive, that gasoline is so expensive, that products are so expensive. We must change the way we operate. And the only way we are going to do these things is by we as the people trying to focus and trying to forge ahead without fear or favor. Do not fear that someone is going maybe to do something bad to you. Do not actually have that fear. We must unite as the people. We must do good, and we must elect some good leaders who are going to actually elevate the way we are doing things, elevate the way things have been done in the past, and how things should be shaping up with the future. Now, it is really sad to see Nebraska farmers, white people, trying as much as they can to blame the other race. It is very good. We really need to change the patterns on how we vote and how we elect our leaders, and the measure in which we use to elect the leaders that we have. We must stop bitter voting. We must change the way we see politicians. We must change the way we see the political parties that have the politicians, and we must change the way we want our countries to be. Now, Abraham Lincoln said that you are the change that you want. The change that you want, the systematic propagation and the way you want things to be done is within the jurisdiction of your powers. You as the voter, you as the person who goes to the ballot, don't believe about the narratives of the system. If the narratives of the system work, then at the top, why don't you elect good senators? Why don't you elect good governors, if that's the case? Now, if you actually say that politicians or presidents are being elected or selected or chosen, whatever you want to use, by the same systems that control the world, now why don't you then choose the politicians at the lowest, at the lowest pyramid? We must change the way we talk. We must change the way we think. And we've been brainwashed to think that someone else wants whatever is good for us. It is only you who wants whatever is good for your country, for yourself. These politicians are there to loot and go. They are there to enjoy the power that comes with the political seats they have, or the political positions. They enjoy everything. They enjoy your taxes and misuse it. Their kids go to international schools. They go to some good universities, while you struggle paying your mortgage, your loans here and there. You are trying as much as you can to change so many shifts. You work on so many shifts to pay your bills. But the same political class we use will take your taxes, misuse your taxes when you watch, and will do nothing. It is for this reason that I say unto you, all of you black folks, all of you white folks, that it is never the same. It is never the same when you vote the same crooked politicians, thinking that they changed overnight. We must change the narrative. And the only way we're going to do this is by uniting at the ballot. Leave alone when I see Latinos or I see white Americans trying to punish the black community. It doesn't work that way. And that's how it has worked for a very long time. They use the divide and rule method that was used by the British Empire to rule over the world. It was used by the Romans. Now they come, bring propaganda, they divide you on the basis of agenda, ideologies, and then after doing that, they have won you, after you're being divided into Democrats, Republicans, whatever parties exist in this world. It is at that moment that they come in and they cause mayhem. They steal a lot. Politicians talk to each other. It is you who do not talk to your brother or sister from the Republican or from the Democrat part of the political divide. It doesn't matter from which political divide you come from. You are one. You are the citizens of the greatest nation on earth, America, and you must enjoy the privileges that it comes with. And that privileges include having a sober mind to elect a sober president or a sober leader. And that's whatever defines you. And that's whatever differentiates you from the other parts of the world. Let's resonate together and let's not make choices that have very bad consequences and in which you have a lot of rage and a lot of people talking about and a lot of cries later on. This is the only time we can unite and make ourselves better. I've seen a lot of Nebraska farmers, a lot of workers crying out about the Donald Trump immigration policies that is affecting the whole country. Now, this should be a wake-up call to all of you. The same cries were made during Joe Biden's and Kamala Harris' time, that there were a lot of cries that the prices of goods were skyrocketing and all these other things. Now it is happening to Donald Trump also. Now that should tell you that the political class or the political divide, for whichever you come from, it is the same. The politicians are the same. It is only you voters who see them as different people, but they carry the same ideologies. They have the same the same appetite for your taxes. Let's watch out. Thank you so much for having time to watch this video. Please, if it's your first time on this channel, please consider subscribing, sharing, and commenting also to this channel. Thank you so much. See you in our next episode.